Hi, welcome to Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my little show about whitewater stuff, rafting, kayaking, that kind of thing. And today I'm going to answer a friend's message. A friend asked me to do a show, and he said, Hey Zach, I had an idea for a Gear Garage show. How do you tell someone when you don't think they should be on the run, especially when they're at put in and not ready to go? And how should someone respond if they're the one who are told not to go? So this is a tough question. These are tough questions, and at first I responded to my friend and said, I'm not going to answer that. That's just, I don't want to get involved. But I thought about it some more and thought I would try to answer it. And first of all, if you need to tell somebody they shouldn't go, especially when they're at put in with their boats, it's tough. I mean, literally you just go, hey, I don't think you're up for the run. You probably shouldn't go. There's not a whole lot more you can do than just being direct and honest. So if you don't think somebody should be there, you kind of have a responsibility to tell them, but it's hard, and I can understand why you wouldn't. If you're the person who's being told not to go, you should take that as good advice and not go. But I think you also, once your boats are put in, once you've driven all this way, once you've met your friends, you're not going to take somebody's advice probably, go, oh, okay, well, I shouldn't go. Let me pack my stuff up and I'll be on my way. Like, it's just not realistic. You've already made the decision to go. So I think it's really hard to communicate with somebody they shouldn't go, and it's really hard to hear that from somebody else. It's just not a super realistic thing to have that discussion. Although you should, and we should be better than that. I think that we're not. But the bigger issue is whether people should be on certain trips. And when I get to put in sometimes, I see people that are drinking, which I don't think we should be drinking on the river. That's a personal opinion. It's actually a very good personal opinion. So I think it's more than just a personal opinion. It's correct. But people do, they're drinking at put in, they're drinking on the river. You might see that, you might think that's unsafe, which it is. There might be some people that are just really inexperienced. You know they're not up for that run and they're going to have a hard time. Or you think that at least. It's hard to judge experience. You know, you might have built with somebody a year ago and they could have gotten way better in a year. So you're just taking a guess on experience. They may have the complete wrong equipment. You know, you could be doing a big water run and they're in a tiny little kayak or a sup. Or you could be doing, you know, something with portages and they have a creature craft. They could have the total wrong equipment and you have to tell them not to go based on their equipment. Or they're just not, they don't have first aid gear, they don't have safety gear, they're just not set up for success and you feel like they're going to hurt the team. Those are reasons why somebody might be a bad fit for a boating trip you're on. And quite honestly, those are all valid reasons to tell people not to go. Again, it's just really hard. You might choose yourself not to go. Like, I think the better choice is to show up, you see a situation you're not comfortable with, and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with the level of drinking, the level of experience here, or something else, and just say, hey guys, I'm not going to go today, I'm not feeling good about it, I'll drive your shuttle or whatever, but I'm going to take off. I think you almost have to pull yourself from that situation when you see something you're not happy with. I know it's a bummer, you drove a long way to go boating, you're excited to go, but if you don't feel safe with it, it's really hard to tell people they can't go. It's much easier to pull yourself away. Some other things you might do are just find a few people you know and trust and just stick to them. You know, paddle up to them early on and be like, hey, you know, Joe and Betty, can the three of us just hang out together? Can we just be a tight-knit group? I'm kind of concerned. You don't have to say I'm concerned about everybody else, but just say, I would love to stick around with you guys and just be like a mini team, and that way you're looking out for each other's safety. Another thing is you should, you know, if you have your own safety kit, you have your own first aid, be self-sufficient in terms of safety gear and experience. Like if you've taken a first aid class, if you've taken a saltwater rescue class, you're not depending on other members of that team to rescue you as much. You have some knowledge that you can use to rescue you in your little mini pod. And make sure that stuff is just packed and you have it with you. And if you're self-sufficient, that really helps. Another thing when I'm paddling with groups I'm not super comfortable with, I do a count. I know how many boats there are, and I'm pretty cognizant of how much are behind me and how much are in front of me. And it's a lot of work all day long. You're counting boats, and you're keeping track of where they are. And I know you're trying to have fun and boat and paddle and hit waves and just be rad, but I think you kind of need to keep track of where people are, especially if it's a group you're not familiar with and they're maybe a little bit sketchy. So again, my quick advice is maybe choose yourself not to go. But if you do, you know, you're kind of, you know, find a small group to go with, have your own safety skills and safety gear, and just keep track of where everybody is. And sometimes when you're boating with groups that you might not feel comfortable with, you're you're solo boating. You're basically looking out for yourself. There's not a team of people there to help you, and take that into consideration. It's almost more dangerous than solo boating in some cases, because these other people could create some sort of hazard that you have to help them with, and it could create a more dangerous situation for you. Again, that's maybe why you might want to pull yourself away from the paddling group. And finally, I think my best advice is, and this is the hardest thing, is just, find a like-minded group of people you like and you boat with, and just have a team. And it's easier said than done. It's not easy to just like all of a sudden have best friends you paddle all over the place with. But there's a lot of value in that, and having a core crew of people that you like, you trust, and that you go with all the time. That's just so valuable. I mean, it's just incredible. And then that's where joining groups like the Oregon Whitewater Association, for example, the Idaho Whitewater Association, others, to meet other boaters, so you can pick and choose ones that have a similar feel to you, can really help. So I really encourage you to just like find that group. But I know that sometimes your friends can't go do a particular run when it's going, and you'll tag along with anybody. And I think you have to recognize, when you jump on somebody else's trip, you're sort of at their mercy, and maybe be mentally prepared that when you show up to put in, that you might see something you're not happy with, and you might personally choose not to go on that trip. Again, it's really hard to just be like, hey dude, you're not going to make it. You shouldn't go. Like, that's just not going to typically fly. So that's it. And this is just my quick advice. I'm not like an expert on answering this particular question, so if anybody else out there has stuff to add, I hope you do. There's a comment section down there. We'd love to hear your 2 cents about what happens if you get to put in and there's people that you don't feel comfortable boating with. Please add a comment. I just love to know from more of you that have a ton of experience out there. Maybe an example would be great, but please add in your 2 thoughts. This is definitely a touchy subject, and I'd love to have a discussion in the comments. So that's it this time. See you next time. Thanks.